Hello. Hi, Internet. I'm your host, Dungeoneer, and this is Pungeon's Planeswalkers, the penultimate episode. With me tonight, I have some other awesome streamers and gamers and just lovely humans. With me tonight, I have. And so I will introduce them and let them say the things that they need to say about their awesome stuff, and then we're going to do a review and we're going to get rolling on this. So first up, we have the person playing Raphael. You want to introduce Raphael and yourself, Mister?
Guys, I'm Sean. You can find me on Twitter at NoTweetSean. I'm playing Raphael Fuchsia, who is a hummingbird Aarakocra, cleric of trickery. He worships the goddess of good luck and is basically a very small moving set of armor.
And under him on your stream is Dix.
Hi, my name is Dix. I am a part of the Swordcast Adventures. I am also the DM for the Swordcast Adventures Plays Waterdeep Dragon Heist every other week on Twitch. And I am also part of the DM's Advice podcast called Help Action. And I play Aarakocra Paladin.
Yeah, that's Maladrak with the Americocra. That's just for the record. I didn't say this before, and I probably should have. I found this image online and turned it into a token with an awesome token making tool. This is not my artwork, but that is the Americocra. So full credit to the person who made that. And under Dix, we have the lovely person playing Petra Argos.
Hi, you can find me on Twitter at Ceramic Owlbear, and I play Petra. Petra is a knowledge cleric, and an Earth Genasi, and a Planeswalker.
Mm-hmm. The Planeswalker stuff is some homebrew content that I've come up with that these people have been kind enough to do some playtesting and poking as I fiddle with the idea and concept of what happens when you can, harness multidimensional energy. A concept that I very greedily stole from some awesome Ravnica novels. So that's a thing that happened. So I'm going to do the recap because it has been all of Christmas, which is most of December since we played, and I want to make sure that I get all the little nooks and crannies, and you guys can fill in the blanks if I miss any. So we have our group of adventurers found themselves in the Durst home. They were initially passing through. They've been bouncing from plane to plane and location to location, first drawn from their homes by, oddly enough, just an innkeeper named Gunter who had found several pieces of the Rod of Seven Parts and drawn them all together by making a wish that he just had some more help around the house. As it turned out, the help that he needed was to fight off gnolls and goblins. It turned out that he was camping in their home territory, and so Tur, the player who can't be here, represented by Health Pack Stream, Jess Pack, she does a bunch of awesome stuff, is an award-winning author for Uncaged Anthology, and yeah, it's cool stuff. Check it out if you haven't already. Wherever she is, she's at her home with like no voice, which is why she's not on tonight. But she's an awesome person. You should check out her shit. So her character Tur schooled Gunter in colonialism and basically scolded him and shamed him a lot, and he responded as old you know, guys do by yelling and wishing that everyone would just leave him alone, which cast the adventurers out into the plains. Um, they traveled through a circus. They traveled to a couple of different places, but eventually they were working their way through a swamp and fighting a hag. And in this swamp, suddenly the fog settled in around them because they had drawn the attention of someone else who was interested in plains travel. And Strahd himself pulled them into Barovia, depositing them into this house for reasons known only to him. They have fought their way through the house, finding the corpses and ghosts of two small children, Rosvalda and Thornbolt Durst, who they have taken under their wing and done their best to protect and calm down. In the last game, they met the parents. Um, uh, of the Durst household, who had been transformed into ghasts, not ghouls, ghasts, because of their terrible, terrible ways of making a creepy torture dungeon under their house. Um, so the characters are now in the creepy torture dungeon. There is loud chanting coming from somewhere deep underneath, even another layer down from where they are. Just saying, basically chanting "kill" over and over and over. Um, and they have worked their way through this dungeon. A lot of big fights, a lot of damage from this last battle, and so they find themselves taking a rest and sort of recapping and realizing that everyone that owned the house uh, had died, and that they, especially Tur, is not quite sure how to communicate to the children that, hey, we found your mom and dad, and then we killed them. So, as Tur is struggling with this, she turns to her companions and says, okay, look, I gave them a lot of shit because uh, they're terrible. They're terrible people, and they deserve a lot of shit. But they, we should also try. I'm doing the best I can on this voice.
I know.
We should also try and put them to rest because this whole dungeon is desecrated, and I'm thinking the ghosts aren't going to rest properly until they are in their crypts, which we found just a little while ago. And so we should let's like maybe put the mom and dad into their crypts and then tell the kids that, hey, mom and dad are sleeping now, and you can go to sleep too, because we could put them into their crypts, and like maybe that'll help. And she's, as she's saying this, is like there's like she's her usual stoic, kind of angry self, and speaking with deep passion, and just tears start like puddling in the bottom of her eyes as she's saying this and talking about how you can care for Rose and Thorn. She goes, so, and as she's saying this, her arms cross, and light starts dancing across her shoulders and flickering, and she's like, no, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. Takes a deep breath and like focuses, and there's like a little like twinkling flash around her, and she disappears for just a second and then flashes back into space like, I got this shit. It's under control now. Not leaving you guys again. She just turns and looks around. Okay, so what are we going to do?
Bill just kind of looks down, looks up, pushes his oversized helmet up so he can see, and goes, yeah, I think that sounds good. Okay. And he starts like dragging his chainmail across the floor toward the bodies.
All right.
Yeah, I'll.
Yeah, I'll follow.
So Tur, her voice just choked with emotion, and stops talking and just puts the weapons away, goes over, grabs the corpse of Elizabeth by the heels, and just starts dragging it towards the crypts. Now, for you guys, I did. I'm making use of the awesome capabilities of Roll20 and have enabled dynamic lighting, so you will only see in line of sight and with your own lighting areas as you turn corners. The people watching will see all the terrible surprises around the corners that are waiting for you, but you will not.
Love it.
Oh boy.
And so I'm going to grab Tur and Elizabeth, and we will drag them over to the crypt, which I got to zoom a little bit for.
That's fine. I'm looking at Petra, and I know that I had protection from evil and good cast on me. So
Yep.
that's what one is, but I'm not sure what that other one, what that other condition is.
You were poisoned by the stench of the gas.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Perfect.
Beep.
Thank you.
Yep. And then so Tur drags Elizabeth all the way to her crypt, puts her down, comes back and guides the the dragging of Gustav to his crypt, and sees him sealed in, and the rock put to side, and then comes back into the hallway where everybody else is, and like, okay, so we need to go talk to the kids now. I don't.
Are you gonna do that? Am I gonna do that? Who's gonna do that?
She's like, I'm I, I'm having trouble with my voice. Just big breath. Just a little bit of snot comes out. It's like it's kind of looks at Maladrak and Petra and Raphael and just gives you those eyes of like, who's doing it? As Petra disappears from the camera.
Maladrak's just gonna look at.
Right.
She's like, "Nope, I'm out."
Full of nope.
Uh,
Perhaps we should do this
Maladrak-
together.
Maladrak's just gonna look at Petra.
Tur kind of joins in with that, looking at Petra. She's like,
Everyone just
she's like, you know what I'll do? I'll go get the bones. And so Tur's like, just bops away up the stairs. She goes to get the bones of the children.
So I
It's a long
guess
trip.
we wait for her to get back.
Hey kids. Come here. We got something to tell you.
Takes a couple of minutes before the spectral forms of the two children float through the walls, and they come into the room with the three of you.
I just like nudge Petra.
Hey guys.
Rose is
So I
holding
know that-
Rose is holding Thorn's hand, and they're she's got like a little bit of a suspicious look on her face. Thorn is just like little lost boy look on his face right now, and he's like, "What's?"
So sorry. I think this is work.
Okay, it's work. It happens.
Can you mute me?
Yeah, I will mute you right away.
It's like, there's something to tell you. Sorry, I gotta take this. Great timing.
It's like, my god's
Oh,
calling,
that was-
and
Yeah.
I gotta go, guys.
I gotta go.
incoming sending. Yeah, there's a sending. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just have to. So
All right.
real life interferes sometimes. As time, the kids just kind of settle in and look at Petra expectantly as Petra composes herself. Tur comes in from behind. She's okay. So I got okay. There's everybody. Hi, kids.
Yeah.
So,
Like large, uncomfortable gulp.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
So we were thinking that oh good, Petra's back.
You're gonna put all the emotional labor on me, aren't you?
We were like Petra's about to speak. Like, wait, I've got a sending. I'm receiving a sending.
There you go. Sorry about that.
Tor's like, that's bullshit. It's 25 words or less.
Love it.
All right. So,
So, Petra, you had something you wanted to talk about?
So, Rose, I know that you were with me when we found certain things in the crypt before, and I guess we were wondering if it might be helpful for you guys to, I guess, to be in the presence of your bones. I'm not quite sure if that would be helpful for you or not.
she crosses her arms and she like lets go of Thorn for a second. Looks down at him and looks at you, and she's like, I kind of don't like being a ghost. And Thorn looks up at her and he goes, I like muscles. He looks at Maladrak as he says that. Um,
I just keep a weary eye on him.
So, I think what we're trying to say is, something bad obviously happened. And we're very sorry. Your your parents were not in a good way. But even though it was hard, we tried to make it right. We uh, we we put them to sleep, and they're now tucked away in their beds.
Thorn looks up at you. I mean, not very far up because
Not very much.
he looks up and he's like, a nap would be good. I haven't had a nap in a really long time.
Yeah, it's kind of what we were thinking. Right, guys?
Yeah,
Like,
I bet we
looks-
could find a
yes,
good
Patriots.
resting place.
And Tur has got like just like a little bit of a snot bubble going on the one nose and tears coming down. And she's like, okay, come on, kids. Oh, let's come on. And she just starts walking away. And like slowly
Oh.
working her way back through the tunnels. Rose and Thorn kind of look at her and look at you guys, and Thorn reaches up to Rose. Rose grabs his hand and says, Petra's like okay, and the the angry girl is pretty cool. We can, yeah, let's go lay down. And grabs, takes his hand and starts walking up into the crypts.
As soon as they exit the room, Raph turns to Petra and it's just like, "Thank you for doing that. That was tough. Good job."
Thanks. That's not something I ever thought I would have to do.
And Maladrak's just gonna pat her on the back and then follow the kids.
The gods are wild sometimes.
Yeah.
So you all end up in the atrium just around the crypts, and Thorn and Rose are looking at they take a moment and look at the closed doors, the crypts of their parents, and they turn to the ones that are theirs with and you come in and you look and you see that the lids are closed, and Tur says, I took care of the stuff that needs to go in. Um, she just looks at the kids, goes, just lay down on top. That'll be right. And then she looks at everybody else, right? You're the priests. I'm not.
I'm like, I don't know. Is that right? Do I need to make a check?
I'm not a priest.
Yeah. Give me a religion roll.
Oh, well, do you want me in on this too?
Yeah, both the priests can go religion.
Oh yeah.
The paladin could too.
Breath looks at you. He's like, ooh.
18?
Okay.
Oh, apparently I rolled with advantage.
No, that's
my
fine.
lower
We'll just
one,
take
though.
we'll take the first we'll take the first dice. They roll them in order. So, 16
Good.
and 18. Um, the two of you think back to the training that you went through, and you have all, or you've both had training in rites, and the things that you do to put spirits to rest. Um, this isn't a case of turning them or destroying undead like you would with channeling divine energy. Um,
Yeah.
but it is something along those lines. Um, so as you start remembering the rites that you've gone through and thinking what would be appropriate for these children to lay them to rest, I'm going to ask each of you clerics to come up with an offering or a contribution to the ritual that would help lay these children to rest.
Okay. Kind of like something each from like based on like the themes of like our deities.
Yep. Yep.
That makes sense.
So we'll Raphael, you got the lower roll, so let's start with Raphael.
Raphael kind of goes. You see him like take his pack off, and he down and kind of sticks his long beak in his pack, and he's kind of rifling around for a second. I'm using these forever. Oh, jeez, I didn't think I'd need them. Reaches in, pulls out these golden dice, and he puts them in his hand. Takes out a bowl, puts the dice in the bowl, pours oil over top of them, lights them aflame, and places them on top. And the dice themselves melt into the bowl and then become like an incense of sorts. And it smells very much like, let's say it smells. It's very like herby, very like kind of like rosemary. And it just fills the room. And he like just blows it around, flaps his wings a little bit to fan it toward the spirits. Removes it, says, "Be with you in the afterlife." Puts his stuff away.
There's, as the smoke passes over them, it coalesces and sort of settles in this little glitter over the shoulders of Rose and Thorn. And Thorn giggles a little bit, like, it tickles. And Rose just like rubs her arms, like she gets like almost like the hairs on her arms standing up and end. And she's like, yeah, that's really nice. And her eyes start like getting that heavy lidded, I've stayed up too late look to them. Give me a wisdom roll, please, Raphael. Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Never mind. Sorry.
She starts
You need to double do it.
she starts blinking and nodding and she like climbs up and like sits on top of her casket, where she walks Thorn to his and like lifts him up and puts him on his casket, and she goes, "I'll be right beside you. I'll be right next door. You just like in our rooms upstairs, just across the hall. I'm there." And then she walks over into hers and she starts climbing up on top, and she looks over at Petra.
And Petra takes out one of her Waka Waka nuts and starts shaking it. Because she remembers that Thorn was afraid of the dark. She also takes out some of the little ceramic cups that she has and starts melting wax to sort of fuse them together like a ceramic ball-ish. She's gonna put the Waka Waka nut inside. The ceramics have a lot of relevance specifically to Petra's religion. That's how they pray. So she puts that lit Waka Waka nut inside and seals it in. Puts that over by Thorn.
Okay. And he like looks at it and smiles as this little glowing nightlight sits beside him and starts lighting up this little crypt. And he's like, he puts his head down and he's like looking at like the images that the wax seams of the ceramic have changed the light patterns on the walls. And he's like, it's like a forest at night. It's really nice. And can you give me a wisdom roll, please?
Mm-hmm.
And he's
6.
like, he looks at it and he's like, and he starts looking and he's like, his one eye twitches a little bit and you can see him like start to think. He's like, and he's like a little bit restless. He's like, sometimes forests have like wolves in them, and I remember the forest from upstairs with the forest carvings. And he starts like rocking back and forth a little bit, and he's a little unsettled. And Tur steps forward and goes to him, and she pulls a knife out of her bag, and goes, "You're way stronger and braver than you ever pretended. Every time you jumped into somebody, you stepped up like a real warrior and protected your sister and protected our friends. And you're you're a real warrior." And she lays the knife down beside him, thinking that maybe she's got this kid figured out, and this is the right thing to do to push him into like comfort. Let's see if I can find the right roll for this. For her, it's going to be intelligence because she's thinking her way through this. Yep. And he's like,
Nice.
his ghostly hand kind of settles over the knife, and he nods and closes his eyes and settles in. And then Tur kind of looks at Maladrak and like nods her head over towards Rose and like a little bit of like something.
Shit. Fuck, I don't really have anything.
Well, thinking back,
Mark.
give me an intelligence or wisdom. So Maladrak, you start thinking about all the times you saw Rose step forward as a protector, shielding her brother, her little brother, from the bad things that happened, coaching him towards being calm, holding him, taking care of him. And that kind of hits you in the paladin feels of this is what people do. And that inspires you to step forward and maybe say a couple things and share some thoughts with her.
Yeah, so Maladrak will step forward and he'll just kind of stoically, like he does. He's you seem to be a fine protector. You watch over your brother, and you take pride in it. And he's going to reach into his armor and pull out an amulet and take it off of his neck and set it on top of the and say, "From one protector to another."
She looks at it, and it's like the first smile you've seen come over this tweenage girl's face. And she's kind of
And so the amulet is this like it's like a mass of feathers that is like ringed with these like gold ribbons.
she looks at it, and her spectral hand reaches out and touches it. And as it does, like a light starts emitting from this amulet. And from the other side, a light starts emitting from the dagger that Thorn's holding. And you see these two items become ghostly, and the children can actually pull them close to their chests as they turn to their sides and slowly close their eyes, and just in a little glitter and smoke, smelling of rosemary, they fade into their coffins. And you can feel the hairs on your arms stand up in response as you feel like a wash of energy pass through the dungeon and yourselves. And the voices that were chanting are momentarily muted. They just stop, and there's silence for a moment. And then there's a soft rumbling from deeper under the ground. Something is not happy with what you have done. And Tur kind of looks at everybody, and she's like, okay, so I guess we're not done here.
I guess not.
Oh boy. Anybody else hear that? You heard that, right? That was there was something. There's a thing.
Yeah. That definitely
I'm
came
less
from
aware
under
of what
us.
we did. Yeah.
All right, Thor, we could go get the thing, but I'm not taking the front. No. Mm-mm.
You can see
I-
Tur like wipes like her nose and eyes on her sleeve, takes her bow out, checks Thume, the mace of thunder at her belt, and she's like, yeah, okay, I got the front.
Okay, but before we go into we don't know what, we should heal up.
She like stops in the dining hall where like Petra had backed out to. Fair point.
Just hand.
You look kind of messed up. Hold on. Let's see.
All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Prayer of Healing on everybody.
Alrighty.
Ooh, what does that do?
It takes 10 minutes, but I can use it on everyone in the party, and it recovers 2d8 plus my ability mod.
Sweet. Yes, please.
Yep, that'd be good.
There you go.
20? Sweet.
Nice.
I think that
Solid.
was a max roll. Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes. Your
I
kindness.
was like, that rolled wrong. Hold on.
Your kindness to the children did not go unnoticed. The gods have rewarded you.
Yay.
I am then going to use 10 points of my lay on hands to put myself back up to almost max.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright. Just checking. And yeah. So gotta do that thing where I look up the stuff.
Call research. Oh, that's not it. Reading. That's reading.
Reading, yes, reading is the thing that I can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Petra. Mhm. I was gonna say while Raphael is doing his prayer of healing, Petra is going to take a minute going through her what's it called? Alchemy kit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of kits. I have healer's kits. I have potions kits, and
All the kits.
all the kits. Yeah, and be looking for something that might unpoison her.
So that would be you don't have any antidote with you. A lesser restoration would do the trick, but I'm going to just check. I'm pretty sure you get a saving throw every few minutes, at which case for against that
Oh,
gassed stuff. So da-da-da-da-da.
Overcome it by sheer force of will.
yeah.
Yes, so you eventually get over it. Um, the
Okay.
the poison you get a saving throw every turn, so you would
Okay.
eventually be cured of
Okay.
that. The stink sticks to your clothes like skunk, though.
Oh, worse.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that is a lot. Um, while you were doing that, um, Tur starts like having like little sparkles around her shoulders, and um, she's like, I think, yeah, I got it. And she reaches out and like just tries touching Maladrak, and Maladrak, you get that one more point to get you back up to your max. Um, and she's like, okay, I think I got this. She's like, I was thinking of home, and then I pulled the energy, and okay, she's like, figuring this stuff out. It's like, whew, made me a little lightheaded. Okay, little lightheaded. It's like there's like actually like her hair is like sparkling a little bit, and she's like little lightheaded. Um, okay, no, good, 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 good. Okay,
I am going to pretend like I know what you are doing.
Oh yeah.
They say, poop, poop.
so the one person in the group who is not a planeswalker just got sucked along for fun.
Okay. So whenever you guys are ready to go, we can go. Let me know and I'll cast Pass Without a Trace when we're ready.
Tur gives the thumbs up.
Yep. we'll
I'm
do
ready
that.
as well.
All right, I'm just gonna grab everybody and move them because there's a going downstairs and whatnot. Dun dun dun. You travel down to the room that Tur and Petra had previously inventoried. That looks like it's a little bit of an ossuary or healing or like creepy little trophy room. And as you come into this creepy little trophy room, um, you find that there is. Just give me 1 second. I will find the correct words for this because I have words. They're printed in a book. I'm going to use that reading thing again that I do.
Is it just me, or is this guy showing off his special powers? Like,
Weird flex, but okay. Um, oh, come on. Where did you go? There we go. So I will give you the flavor text of the room. This, as you come down here, you can hear the ghostly chanting that you had heard before has renewed, but with much less vigor than before. Um, and now that you're close enough, you can hear that it's different than before. It's now calling out, "He is the ancient. He is the land. He is the ancient. He is the land." This room is a 15 by 25-foot room. There's relics that are kind of all in the walls. There's a full list of them. There's like weird pendants and daggers and aspergillium, a cloak made out of ghoul skin, a severed hag's finger, a small wooden statue of a mummy. And the two exits from the room, one is a dry, slightly upward sloping passage, and the other slopes down and ends in a portcullis. And halfway down the ramp, there's like this murky swamp water sitting there, and you can very clearly hear that the chanting is coming from the room with the swamp water.
Maladrak would like to use something. One sec. My divine sense. My divine sense to see if I can sense any celestials, fiend, or undead within 60 feet that are not behind total cover.
Celestial, fiend, or undead. You definitely detect fiends within 60 feet.
All right. What, can I tell which path they would be coming from?
Again, one into the water.
Okay. Maladrak's going to pull his flail out and say, "There's fiends down there."
Of course there are.
Tur looks at her bow, looks at Thum. It's a lot of water.
Can you swim?
Yep. Let's do this.
I look over at Raphael and Petra.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I start to walk down the ramp.
Okay.
As you get to the base of the ramp, you can see into this larger room. The portcullis is still there. Give me 1 second. Petra, I think I'm getting echo off of yours.
Think so? Okay.
I'm getting echo off
See what
of
I can do about
someone's.
that.
Okay, how about this? Nope, still doing.
Still doing it?
Yeah. Okay, well, it might not be you. But okay, no, there, it stopped now. Whatever somebody just
Weird.
did. Whatever somebody just did, it worked.
All right.
The portcullis is like appears stuck about halfway down, not quite touching the water. It's maybe like a foot above the water. You see it's rusted and like there's muck and almost like vines growing around the edges, hanging into the walls of this area, and as you've gotten down into the water. And as you approach, the chanting stops as you peer into this 40-foot square room. The smooth masonry walls provide excellent acoustics, and the silence echoes for a moment. And you can to the point.
Is the room lit?
It is softly lit. Yes, I can. Is
Okay.
it lit for you guys?
No.
I can see where we are. As I
reveal.
move, then I can start seeing what's down there.
Yeah, I can see like the room that we were in, but I can't see in the next room.
Okay, I will provide light momentarily. Of course, I think it will also
Let there be light.
There will also be light
Yeah,
as you move in.
Yeah,
There
because
we
I have the glowing sword, so I should have a good
Yeah. So
aura around me.
now can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I can see all the scary.
Because Tur was carrying a lantern. So the room itself only had like this like bioluminescent greenish glow going on. Um, but the smooth masonry walls provide excellent acoustics, and you can hear your own breathing. And in a moment of stillness, your own heartbeat start to go faster and faster. As you look around, you see these featureless stone pillars support the ceiling. A breach in the west wall leads to a dark cave heaped with refuse. Vines from the refuse kind of creep up the wall and spread across the ceiling, um, reaching and like touching all the corners of the room. Murky water covers most of the floor. Stairs lead up to dry stone ledges that hug the walls. In the middle of the room, more stairs rise to form an octagonal dais that also rises above the water. Rusty chains with shackles dangle from the ceiling directly above a stone altar mounted on the dais. The altar is carved with hideous depictions of grasping ghouls and is stained with dry blood. Spread throughout the room, there are 6 large creatures bent over, like standing about 7 feet tall and bent over, capes, leathery capes draped down across them, covering their bodies. Their heads hang in shadow. Um, uh, and as you step into the room, you hear a creak behind you, and the portcullis slams down to the ground, driven and pulled by vines. Raphael, who had been holding back, a vine shoots up underneath and pulls you just under the water and into the room. Give me a strength check to resist, please.
Save or check?
Let's go with.
Never mind,
Say,
it doesn't matter.
let's go with. It doesn't really matter, but it's going to be contested strength versus the thing that I'm looking for.
So 15.
All right.
Really good for me.
Oh, 14.
Yes!
So it grabs you, pulls you just under the water into the room, and you like yank yourself free, and like pop back up out of the water as the portcullis slams. You are in the room, but you are not under the water.
Okay. As he gets pulled down, he and then it comes across.
The chanting rises once more as these 6 dark apparitions appear on ledges overlooking the room. They step down into the water. Each one resembles a black-robed figure holding a torch, but the torch's fire is black and seems to draw light into it where you would expect to see faces or voids. These leather coverings, like closely bound around their shoulders as if their arms are crossed underneath and they're almost shrink wrapped onto their bodies. They start chanting, "One must die. One must die. One must die."
At that point, can I cast Shield of Faith on myself?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Oddly, they aren't turned to face you, they're all turned to face the altar.
Huh.
It's almost as if they're ignoring you, and like Tur is standing right next to one.
What's on the altar?
The altar itself is empty. There are chains, and it is stained with blood.
Okay. Since we are not yet in combat, Raphael's gonna kind of like reach suddenly across over at Petra and like just touch her shoulder. Be like, and just like mumble some words under his breath and cast protection from evil and good.
Okay.
This is shocked face.
Yeah.
Do they move towards the altar?
No, they're just standing in their places, chanting away. This is your divine sense. As you walk into the room, you mapped onto like these 6 things. This is definitely where the fiendish energy was coming from.
Hmm.
Petra is going to cast Identify. Like, actually cast it. She wants to see if there's anything in the room that maybe she has not.
I believe you have to cast Identify on a particular object that you can touch and examine.
Do I?
Yep.
Never mind then.
Raphael's going to take touch himself and cast Blink. He just got grabbed by something.
All right. So Petra has protection from evil and good. Maladrak has Shield of Faith. Is there a shield icon? I thought there was a shield icon. We'll give you the aura. Yeah, there's a shield icon. Cool. Raphael, what did you cast on yourself? Blink? Okay.
Blink.
That's the wrong button.
Yeah. He's still on this plane.
There we go. All right. All right. So you. I don't know how long that divine sense lasted, but you did map.
It's just like for the turn.
Oh, you just ping. Okay, so it's just that mental ping.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely felt these fiends in the room.
Maladrak's gonna kind of try and move his way past Tur to try and get out of the water.
Easily done. Tur also steps up the stairs, and you can go. You can use your movement. This chanting just keeps repeating. One must die. One must die. And as you move into the room, even though you're moving around, the chanters are all still just staring at the altar as if willing someone to walk up to it. Far above the altar, a faint bluish light starts to flicker and glow, and casting almost like a spotlight down onto the altar itself, lighting it.
Petra is going to lean over to Raphael and whisper, "Do you think that they're charmed, or is this intentional?"
Can I make a religion check to see maybe Raphael's insight into the situation?
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
Insight?
Yeah, go with religion. It is a creepy invitation to do a ritual. They are asking for a sacrifice of some kind, and the focus of that is obviously the altar. And there's the four of you that are living in the room.
Well, I mean, I think they need somebody to die, but that one of those could be one of them, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we should subdue them.
You know what? How large is this room?
40 by 40.
Lovely. Well, I've got a 20-foot range, but I'm not standing in the middle of that room.
Why not? It's obviously perfectly safe.
Yeah, right? Petra, from where she is going to cast Calm Emotion.
Oh.
Did it do it? It didn't do it. Let me try that over here.
That's there.
Yeah, it's there. It showed up.
Oh, okay.
So you're trying to calm the emotions of one half of the room, then?
Yeah. And see if
Or are you
that
trying to
changes
untrauma them?
what they're.
Each humanoid in a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point you choose. So a 20-foot radius sphere
Oh, on the point I choose.
would be 40 feet across.
See the whole room.
So you could attempt to do the whole room.
Mm-hmm.
You can suppress any
Yeah.
effect causing a target to be charmed or frightened.
Mm-hmm.
Alternatively, you can make a target indifferent about creatures of your choice that it is hostile towards. So,
Mm-hmm. So at this point, they're not being hostile toward us. I'm looking to see if I can break a charmed effect and find out if they're charmed.
all right. And what is your spell save DC?
Oh, 14.
All right, so doesn't seem to have any effect. The chanting continues. Although Maladrak, Tur, and Raphael, you all feel much calmer than a moment before. Like, you can choose to resist the effect, or you can play. All right, Raphael, we're looking at you.
Yeah, Raphael stopped shaking. He's like, oh, well, that was nice. Thanks, I needed that. Raphael's going to kind of like get back in the water and try to kind of slowly move toward this altar.
Because of your height, it is rough terrain.
Yeah.
So it takes you a little bit of pushing to get through, and by the time you climb out, you look like a duck at an oil spill. It is just not like greasy black something is stuck to most of your feathers and clothes, and you can start to smell the oh, that's rotting plant. That's okay, that's compost that I'm smelling. That's on me now. I'm smelling compost. I smell like compost. Are the thoughts that like run through your head as you reach the altar.
He comes out and is like, ugh! And then bleh! It's like pukes a little. It's like gathers himself again and slowly is his way forward.
As you
And
set foot on the altar and start creeping forward, the chanting gets more excited. One must die. One must die. One must die. You feel the anticipation in the room building.
It's very uncomfortable.
Turn his turn. What is he doing?
But he carries through with his plan because of the calm emotions. He takes his. Any way for him to detect if there's like a spell on this altar?
A detect magic would probably do the trick.
Besides the fact that there's like a glowing ball of light on it.
Yeah, there's like stark spotlight highlighting it.
I assume he just assumes that it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna put his hand on the altar and cast and use his Planeswalker ability to cast Dispel Magic at 4th level.
Ooh.
Dope.
Oh yeah, the empower spell. That is an empowered spell. Okay, so okay, so 4th level. What would the and you're casting it on the altar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The altar like shudders for a moment. The whole room starts to shake. You see the vines around the room start twitching and thrashing, and they release from the ceiling and fall in some areas, lashing, like almost creating like ropes that you could like hang on to or use to pull yourself across the room. And there's like a little woof of magical energy sucking back towards you, and the chant stops. Silence for a second, you can start to hear thump thump, thump thump, like a deep set heart, thump thump, thump thump, thump thump, thump thump, and the chanting starts up again. Lorgoth the Decare, we awaken you. Crush the defilers, Lorgoth the Decare, we awaken thee. Crush the defilers.
I cracked the dude in the head standing in front of me.
All right. Your weapon passes straight through.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah.
Oh no.
This a little illusion, and you hear a high pitched cackle, as it does. Give me a second. The shadow chanter disappears, and in its place, there is this tiny little imp that was fluttering in the space where your weapon passes through. So in future, for any of the ones that are still in their full size, the first roll is much like mirror image at disadvantage, but anything else will be regular once they're changed, and you hear a slithering, slurping, and sucking sound happening from that dark chunk of cave as a compost pile of vines and decaying things starts sliding out from that shadowed alcove. And we are at initiative.
I don't think it worked, guys.
Oh, it worked plenty good.
Oh no.
Give me a second here.
Woohoo!
Nice rolls.
Nice. I'm gonna try to. Can't all be nice rolls.
Yeah.
Not a bad one.
Why aren't you?
It just reminds me of the last battle where I kept rolling 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
Like, nope. 9 is good. We like that.
I want to give you a turn. Why won't it give it a turn? All right, I will figure that out in a moment. And
turn maker, oh turn maker.
Yeah. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things to give turns to.
Cluster.
Oh right, yes.
You get to be everybody today.
Right, I made beautiful choices.
Too good. You're not allowed to have those.
Okay, so all the things that has zeros. We got a 16 and a 12 and a 20 and 13 and a 16 and then a couple more, a 20 and a 5. And a 9 for the thing that I can't get to give a turn to. I don't know, why is that not working? It's on the token layer. Why is it? Alright, well, I will just add this thing, give it an extra turn. And make that a 9. Alright, so I haven't figured out why the shambling mound is not getting a turn, but it's a shambling mound. Hooray! And descending. There we go. Maladrak, you are up first.
Woohoo! So this imp in relation to me, where is it like straight in front of me, or is it like down a bit?
It's like it was like hanging on to that post, like hiding in the corner. So it was just above the water, hanging, like clinging to the post, projecting that image.
Then I'm going to bring my flail around and try and beat the shit out of it.
Punk!
Yep.
Go for it. Boom.
Non-natural 20.
Yeah. Not only did you hit it, but you paste it into the thing. Imps don't have a lot going for them once they are found. So that, yeah, that's one attack.
And then I'm going to, I guess, move down to the next one and try the same thing.
All right, so disadvantage on this one. You know that it's there, but it's behind an illusion, so.
All right.
Oh,
Crit fail.
Yeah, that's the flail hits the post and the chain kind of wraps around and hooks for a second. You got to pull it loose, and that takes us.
What would that take to pull it loose?
Just eating up the rest of your turn.
Got it.
Which takes us to the first of the shadowed chanters, and you hear. Does anybody here speak abyssal or no infernal?
Nope.
Okay, in that case, you hear. And the shadow chanter here just like levitates up and flies in to attack Maladrak.
Yeah, no, I have deep speech.
That is a 14.
Not that one.
That does not hit.
Okay, that's all it gets to do. Which brings us to the next one that flies up and across over at Raphael. And that also fails. And it's Raphael's turn.
All right. Raphael, what the heck is he going to do?
So as what happened was this shadow chanter that was just standing there chanting rips open the cloak, and as it does, that was not a cloak. Those were wings. And it spread these black leathery wings, and like there's this hard flap, and you should have felt air blow past you from the strength of the flap, but it was just this hard snapping sound, and it launches towards you and sort of passes just over your head, just missing you, but obviously striking at you.
Super. He's going to pull out his mace.
Okay.
And take a swing at this thing. Disadvantage.
17 hits, yeah. So
Okay.
I'm going to get rid of that one.
Ah!
And this one disappears, replaced by an imp.
Swats at it like a giant mosquito.
Mm-hmm. And that imp is not dead. But it's like you you hit it and like it splashes into the water and then kind of flaps out at like a weird angle.
He's going to he'll stay right there. Okay, he blinks out of existence into the ethereal plane.
All right.
So he hits it down and then goes, uh-oh.
So that means this one is going to fly at Petra and attack Petra. That is a 19.
That hit.
That's hit. That is a DC 11 Constitution saving throw, please.
Actually, that's a disadvantage because she has protection from evil and good.
Oh, so
great.
that's a 10 then. So that is not a thing that you got missed. Yep.
Thank you, Raphael. Yeah.
Good call.
And this other one, what's their movement here? This one flies around and flanks Petra, and also stings at her. That's a 15.
That doesn't hit.
Yeah, because it's the flanking takes care of the disadvantage. That also misses, and it's Petra's turn.
It is not loving her current situation. Petra is going to cast Spirit Guardian. So,
Ooh, nice.
yeah.
Sweet.
So
Bad news for the
you'll
two people
see
engaged with you.
that one. Yeah. All of a sudden, you'll see these little flying, like burrowing owls flying in a circle around her. They'll be giving off radiant energy.
All right. So these little owls start flapping around, and like they're not just flapping around you or around the creatures near you, but they're actually passing through their bodies. And you like see these things like ah 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 ah. They don't take damage this round. They take damage when they start their turn there.
Yeah.
And when it enters the area for the first time or starts its turn there, it'll take damage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Love it.
That is a lot of damage for it to take. So.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
Stay away from her.
action. Anything else for you?
I'm not going to do a bonus action at this point. So yeah, I'm going to just stay there. That'll be it for Petra.
All right. So we've got one Shadow Chanter here that is going to be attempting to sting Maladrak. That is a... Oh, it doesn't have you flanked, so that's just a 13.
That does not hit.
That does not hit. Shitty little imps.
I have a feeling you have something else that you want to play with here pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we're gonna hit see at this guy here. Copy. Let's see if I can. Oh, aha! Still doesn't get a turn. All right. Well, that's it, guys. You win.
Yes.
I will
Victory by tech error.
Yeah, I will just give it. I'm gonna give it the turn right after. Oh, I gave it the low turn, didn't I? So this one here would be. Yeah, that's the one I wanted. Because give me a second here. I just got to check things. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. So change this. This is my goober. All right. So he, Shambler, gets to swim 20 feet. 5, 10, 15, 20. Close enough to attack Maladrak. And it is going to attempt to vines lash out from it and the ceiling down at Maladrak. The first one is a 15.
Does not hit.
Second one is a 25.
Ooh, that will hit.
That is going to be 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oof.
And it is...
And I will make my concentration check. Well, I didn't have disadvantage.
So it's just the 20. That'll do the trick.
Yeah.
All right. And it is Tur's turn. So I think this is the thing that Tur usually does, is cast As a bonus action, Zephyr Strike.
Nice.
So that is the thing that that Tur does. So Zephyr Strike, concentration up to a minute. Movement doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity, and they are going to rip down into this mess. Grab Thoom. And yeah, attack that one little imp.
Get him.
I gotta roll the attack. There we go. With a critical
Ooh.
hit.
Nice.
Crit.
Hunting.
Pew 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 pew.
Yeah. And so that imp is blasted into oblivion. And because she killed a critter, it triggers the mace's special ability, which is casting Thunder Wave, and she it starts to vibrate, and she looks at Maladrak, duck, and manages to twist the mace, and you can see as if finally she's figuring this out, and she directs the thunder, and it blasts starting from where she had stepped. It blasts from here straight through these two, the shambling mound and the imp that is there. So that is a thunder wave.
Ooh. Good way to start. Good job.
Yeah. For, low, 7 points of damage, which they have to make saving throws, half as much damage, or not be pushed. So, sorry, I have to. There's a lot of reading. Con saves. There we go. That is a fail. That is a save. Okay, so the imp gets blasted back. The shambling mound, so it's going to take 3 points of damage. There we go. And the shambling mound takes half of that, so also, this one takes 7 points of damage. And the shambling mound takes 3 and is not moved. And, okay, I'm going to track this one on paper, because for some reason it's not responding as a token should. Which is weird.
That's the one.
That's... Tur gets how many attacks? Two attacks. Okay, well.
Oh, yeah.
So she continues moving forward. The first attack blew away the illusion on the shadowed caster there, showing the imp for what it is. Our second attack is Thoom at this little booger. It was an 8. That is not... Oh, wait. Is that... Okay, yeah. That is just a miss as it flutters off to the side. Still reeling and shaken from catching that first thunder wave. And so yeah, bonus action, 2 actions, and some movement. That is that. Tur has completed their turn. Try this. Can I do it this way? Ha-ha! Ha-ha-ha-ha-ha! Alright, cool. You go away, piece of crap thing that doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Oh.
Now I have a token that behaves like a token.
We won.
Yay! All right, that was Tur's turn, and this thing is actually there. So we'll do that, and then we'll do one of these things, and then that, and now Tur's turn. It's Maladrak's turn. Huzzah! Thank you for your patience as I navigate having way too many monsters.
It's all good. Uh, so Maladrak would like to sell and pull out his +1 battle axe,
hmm
and he would like to attempt to jump from the ledge that he is on onto the steps of the altar, and like as he does, like take an attack at the mound as he goes by.
No, it's not the spell jump, the actual jump thing, which I think is just an athletics check. So yeah, give me an athletics check. So yeah, Maladrak braces one foot against the back wall to get like one foot on the ground. You can see his legs brace and like phoom, launches himself, swinging the axe down at the shambling mound as he passes up and over. And yeah, go ahead and roll your attack.
That did not do the attack.
Didn't do the attack. Did great damage though.
Oh, there you go. I'm like, oh, that's not the best roll.
There we go. Just a 9.
There we go.
Yeah, the axe hits and like it hits like a solid chunk of wood, and you like some chips fly off, but you didn't cut down into the core of the creature.
And then after I land, I'm gonna bring it back around and try and hit him again.
All right, go for it.
Do it. Do it.
For another 9.
No.
Again, hitting like a chunk of like hardened oak or something that hadn't quite rotted all the way through. There's a piece of bone that takes the axe. It just doesn't quite do it.
Yep.
Raphael, you are up.
All right. Raphael is going to reappear the other side of the imp. So he'll poof and then poof back and take another swing at him.
All right, go for it.
Oof.
That is a miss.
Miss.
It just flutters just out of the way.
And then it's going to.
No, and then.
And then. And then he poofs away again. Ah, poof.
That's a fun trick.
A ghost do this once.
All right, so that was Raphael's turn. One of the imps is the one that you just swung at, like tries to like swing back, and you're not there, and it like looks around, and then sees Maladrak with his back to it, and zips in to flank him against the shambling mound and attacks. 21.
That will just hit.
Just hit. You feel like a sharp poke in the back of your neck, and then almost as if like somebody had spilled hot boiling water across the back of your neck. It just stings and spreads really quickly. Make a Constitution saving throw, please.
17.
So yeah, it just like stings, really like hurts for a second, but you only take the 1 point of damage from, or no, 4 points of damage from piercing. And 2 points of poison. You have resisted most of it.
Sweet.
Paladin.
Mm-hmm. Petra. Okay, so these guys have to make saving throws. What was the DC on that? It was.
I think it was a wisdom save.
I'll just scroll back up to it.
Yeah, a wisdom saving throw.
At what number?
Well, my spell save DC is 4.
So we got a 19 and a 6. Okay, so they take half as much damage. So the radiant energy blasts, and you can see like bits of this illusion just like. Well, your initial roll was an 18, so I was going with that one.
Oh, perfect.
Because that's what they would take from their first time coming in. So
Mhm.
this one saved, so it takes 9,
Mhm.
and you see like in a moment, like there's like within a moment, there's like just a smoking, charred imp like hanging onto the wall, like staggering and almost blind,
Oh no!
and it uh like it lashes out, stinging at you. A 13, that does not hit.
Rah.
That one just had its turn. The other one is just gone.
Mhm.
Got blasted by the spirit guardians. And oh, I forgot to back this one out. So it stings at you and it tries to start backing away, and you get an attack of opportunity on this little fried imp.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna use my sword.
Fried imp.
Mm-hmm.
That's practically a Ravnica special. That is a hit, and you split the little sucker in half.
Nice.
Yeah. Like imps are not they're not a lot. They're just
Mm-hmm.
really immune to a lot, but they only have 10 hit points. So that guy's
There you
gone.
go.
So that one's still there. That's still there. That's doesn't get 2 turns. There we go. So that was Petra. Next up is the Shambler. The Shambler is going to attack.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was their turn. So
Oh,
my owls got one.
it was well. No, then it's your turn now.
Yeah. So
No way to have
I'm
so many
going
clans.
to go for. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna move forward. I don't
So once you enter the water,
want
your movement's at half
to.
speed.
Pardon?
Once you enter the water, your movement is at half speed, so every water square counts as 10 feet rather than 5.
Okay. And it's not stone, but I ignore that. But I swear.
You're cutting in and out a little bit.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna move forward just enough so that I'm over here
So
with this.
just stepping into the water, it comes up to about mid-thigh on you, just enough that you have to slog through
Okay.
it. But you can see that imp fluttering around, and it had just stung Maladrak in the back of the neck.
Yeah.
Like a
I
dick.
don't like that. That's my friend.
Mhm. They're
There you go.
tiny little pricks.
Literally.
Okay. So I'm getting up close there. And I'm going to take a swipe at him with my sword that's out.
All right,
Yep.
the Lightbringer.
Let's do that
Go for
again. Yeah.
Lightbringer.
Okay. 10.
That hits. That hits. And it's 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
That is all the hit points it had left. You slice it out of the air.
Sucker.
Okay. Seeing that, then I'll
The one closer to Maladra, but that's all this round.
Okay. So that was it. Now it's the Shambler's turn, and it is going to attack Tur.
Not Tur.
Yeah. First attack is a 20, which I believe. Where is it? Armor class 13? Yeah, that's not great. So that's a hit for 15 points of bludgeoning damage. Ow.
Oof.
And then it does the same thing again for 24. Ow.
Ugh.
And the vines wrap around Tur and start pulling her tiny form into this creature.
Like that's bad.
Yeah.
It's not good.
And yeah, she gets sucked into the mound.
Bro.
And it's her turn. Da-dum-bum-bum. So she must make a Constitution saving throw. That is not a success. And so she takes some damage. 9 points of damage from being smothered, and Tur is unconscious.
God.
No.
Maladrak's turn.
Molodrak moves over to where he saw Tur get sucked into this thing, and he's just gonna start hacking away.
Go for it.
21.
Oh, that is a hit. One-handed or
Nice.
two-handed?
Definitely two-handed. Just like swinging as hard as I can.
Okay.
Schwack.
And I will swing at it again.
Okay.
Do it again.
Another
Yes.
21.
Nice. Fortunately, for some reason, the two-handed damage was a little less this time.
Yeah.
Don't know how that works. All right. That is Maladrak. Raphael.
Let's see. Raphael is going to reappear next to Petra. And he is going to immediately cast Guiding Bolt on the mound.
All right. That is most definitely I believe it's a hit. Yeah, that's a big old hit.
Pops out and shoots this purple bolt you guys are used to seeing, and it just lights up the shambling mound so that the next person has advantage to attack it.
Mm-hmm.
Tight.
And Petra. Or, sorry, Raph, that was your action. Do you have bonus action or anything else you're doing?
No bonus action. Let me roll real quick to see if I disappear again. Yes, I do. Poof.
Petra.
Okay. So, knowing that Petra is going to cast and doesn't say I have to.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're gonna have to speak up. You're cutting in
I
and
should-
out again.
Am I? Drats. Okay, let's try that again. So Petra would like to cast Aid.
Okay.
I don't have to be able to see people.
Yeah, just choose
to cast
three
aid on.
creatures within range.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick myself, Maladrak, and Tur.
Okay.
And you guys will get 5 extra points.
Sweet.
Tur is awake.
Rose action. But I'm also going to closer to this thing.
Yeah. All right. Can you roll the damage and save on your Spirit Guardians, please? Because it's starting its turn inside your Spirit Guardian range. Because you moved in.
Hmm? Okay.
Just a normal wisdom roll.
No, it's whatever. Just cast the spell again, so it'll cast the damage on it.
Oh,
Sure.
did you do it?
No, that didn't work. Oh, it's alright, I'll do it. Spirit Guardians. There we go. That's the one we needed. DC 14, Wisdom save, and Radiant. So, Wisdom. That's a 2. So it takes 17
Nice.
points of Radiant damage. And that is the end of your turn. That's for the beginning of its turn, so it took that damage. It's going to lash out at Maladrak, now with its viney arms. 13. I don't think that hits.
Nope, sure
And
doesn't. Neither does a 15.
15. Okay, that does not hit either. So it's whoosh, whoosh. That nothing happens. And it is Tur's turn. Tur has to make a saving throw or take some engulfing, blinded, restrained, and unable to breathe. DC 14 con save.
Super.
16 does not take damage. And so Tur is, you see from inside this thing, there's like this glittering pulse of white energy. And Tur appears on the ledge at the other side of the room, like I'm gonna kill that fucking thing. And she used her Planeswalker dimensional slip to bounce to the other side of the room.
Well done.
That being said, so that was an action, and then so. Oh, that was a bonus action. Okay, cool. And then she just stops, and you can see like the glow is still going around her shoulders. Obius just disconnected because it hates me.
Oh.
It hates fun. That's why. Let's see if it can reconnect. Reconnection successful. So is it still recording and doing the thing? And I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'm just gonna check the channel real quick. Make sure we are actually back up. We are actually back up. Cool. Okay. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo!
I think. Yes. Looks like we are back up. Hooray! Okay. So.
Yay.
So that was Tur got that, and then she attempts to harness some extra dimensional energy and recharge her planeswalker points, but did not. So there's like a little flicker and glint, and she kind of leans back, and like you have the like, okay, lightheaded. Whoo, that's a lot. Deep breaths. You see her like holding the wall in one hand, like leaning against the wall and holding it, and like the other hand is on Thum, and she's like sort of like loosening her wrist up, you can see what she's got planned. And Maladrak, your turn comes up.
I again just start to swing at this thing.
All right. Oh yeah, that's a big old hit.
All right.
Nice.
I will swing again. All right.
Another awesome hit.
On that one, I would like to spend a spell slot to smite him.
Heck yeah.
Smitify.
I'm going to spend a second level spell slot.
To make it a large smite. Yes.
Very. Okay.
The smitey blow that you're dealing.
So another 17 damage on top of that.
All right. There we go.
Bad house plant.
All right. Anything else from you, Maladrak?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Raphael.
Raphael. Let's see. He's going to pop back in over here. Do there. And he's going to pop in and go, "Hey, you overgrown ficus!" Boom. And shoot guiding bolt again.
Solid choice. That is definitely a hit.
8 radiant damage, and Petra gets advantage on her next
Mm-hmm.
attack. Do I stay there? Not next time on Dragon Ball Z. Nope. You stay there. He doesn't phase out this time.
Before Petra has a chance to act, the light that had been shining down over top of the altar twists and focuses towards the plant, and there's like a sharp scent of ozone and a little zot, and a bolt of lightning streaks down from this beam of light and hits the creature amidst its foliage.
Oh no.
Oh,
If I can find the critter.
It's bad, boys and girls.
my
These critters stack on each other. And you can see, like, as this bolt of electricity hits the shambling mound, a bunch of the damage that had been done to it is knitted back together as the electricity essentially heals it.
Super.
And
Mm-hmm.
this sharp white light energy rockets down from the ceiling and just embeds itself right inside the shambling mound. Passes through it. Where did it go? Passes through it and arrives on the far side. All right, so that is the will-o-wisp that is going to be coming in at a 12. Now it's Petra's turn.
Petra is going to take a good swing at not at the will-o-wisp, at the big green guy.
Okay.
Should I roll it again? Because do I still have advantage?
Yeah, you had advantage for because of the guiding bolt. So yes, 10 doesn't do it though.
Yeah. Okay. then I will use my bonus action to use my my Planeswalker abilities. Heal Tur for 1d4.
Alrighty.
And of course it's a 1.
No.
Every helps.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah,
True, true.
but I'm staying right there.
All right. It is the Shambler's turn, and it is going to, I think, attack
Gets abs.
Maladrak again. A 22. Har.
That does hit.
20 points of bludgeoning damage,
All right.
Oof.
and it's going to swing at you again. Another 22 for 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
I am at 1
Jeez.
HP.
Ah,
However, it got you with both of its attacks, which means you are now grappled. Give me a strength save at DC 14.
Come on, now.
Oh, you
Ooh.
managed to rip yourself free of the
Yes.
tentacles that had wrapped around you.
Suck it, you shrubbery.
And Tur, you see
I like
Tur,
it.
Tur nods and like takes a deep breath and like with the speed of wind just rips on by, does like a strafing attack on this thing, just runs by with like Thumes like over the one shoulder, and as she gets close, just swings and thunders it into the side of this critter. Go to actions. And should not have run. Should have. As she goes to like swings, and like the vines and like gross stuff on the floor like slips up her footing, and she loses and stumbles and tumbles into a saving throw. And just biffs and kind of like slides on the muck to the end of the room and into the wall. She shakes her head and stands up and realizes that she's within touching range of the Will-O-Wisp, and so we use her second attack against it.
Neat.
22 points of damage.
There you go.
Although 1 point of bludgeoning and 1 point of lightning means she healed it for 1 point of damage.
Oh, she heals the Will-O-Wisp too.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's the end of
Oh,
Tur's turn. Oh wait, no. Let me just read.
Oh
no, it's
but
immune.
on
It's immune.
the
It's immune to
shambling-
lightning. That's my bad. It's immune to lightning. The shambling mound
Immune to-
heals from lightning, but the Will-O-Wisp is just immune to it, so it takes 1 point of damage.
That's good to know. I was gonna say too, the shambling mound was in my radius during its turn.
Right. So it needs.
So I rolled the 3d8 for it,
and,
but he has to save
12 points, but it has to make a saving throw Constitution, right?
wisdom 14.
Wisdom 14. Thank you. 13. So it's going to take the full 12 points of damage from your Spirit
Nice.
Guardians. All right.
Oh yeah.
So that was Tur, and it's over to Maladrak that almost just got sucked into this thing.
Just about.
No dying.
I'm going to try not to. I am going to reach up and kind of like touch my chest as I put 15 points of lay on hands into myself. And then I think that's it because I don't really have much to do for a bonus action.
All right. Raphael.
Raphael. What is Raphael? But I know anything about will-o'-the-wisps.
Give me. They are. What are they? What kind of critters are these things? They are tiny undead. So give me a religion check. Um, they're made of electricity, and they are born of the spirit of a terrible person.
Fun. I'm gonna go over here and move it. Just on the movement. And then I'm going to take a swing at it.
Alrighty.
He takes his coin mace. Probably swings up at it since it's floating.
That does not strike it. It just bobs out of the way. It's really small. It's like about fist sized. It's just this bright ball of energy.
Oversized night light.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Let's do this real quick. See if I'm still there. I'm still there.
All right. All right. So the will-o'-wisp's turn. It moves into the shambling mound. Heals it for 6 points of. Oops. Plus 6. Moves back out. To there. Petra, what's the range on your spirit guardians?
On my owls.
Yes.
Um, it says the range is. Oh, they flit around me for a distance of
How many?
15.
50. Okay, well that means that the will-o'-wisp entered your range when it went in to heal the shambling mound. So please roll your 3d8, and that will make its Constitution save, or Wisdom save. Sorry. Wisdom 12. That's a fail, and so it takes 12 points of radiant damage.
Yeah.
One of the types of things that it's not immune to. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Damage per round.
It's not immune to owls.
Yeah.
What? Ghosts are weak to ghost?
Not immune to other ghosts? What? And that's its turn. You hear like a really small, like ghostly male voice. Ouch! Ow! Ow! No! No! No!
Help me! Help me!
um, I am going to use my bonus action to heal Maladrak. So I'm going to
Thank
use
you.
that pearl that I have. Yeah, I'm going to use that pearl that I have so that do healing word at second level. Here we go.
Who is that getting cast at?
Oh, at Maladrak.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yes.
Nice. All right, you got 9.
Thank you.
Okay, and no, I'm pretty okay with my spot there. That was my bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use my act to take a swing, Mr. Mound here.
Alrighty.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe 15 is exactly what you needed to hit it.
My glowing sword.
Oops.
Get him.
And that's one-handed because you got a shield in the other arm, right?
Yeah, just one hand.
Okay. So you hack off a chunk of vines. The creature's substantially smaller than when it started. You're like literally chopping vines and limbs and chunks of wood flying off it as you guys are flailing away at it. And it starts its turn with a saving throw versus your owls, your tiny owls that are just flying in and grabbing like twigs and branches and pulling them off. 13, which is a fail. So that's another
13 damage.
13
Just
damage.
Nice.
And
Get up.
it turns its attention to you and swings one of its smaller remaining vines at you, bashing into you for 11 points of bludgeoning damage. And then a second one follows it up.
Does it have disadvantage because of protection, or does that not affect the amount? I just don't know.
It is a
What kind of
large
creature it is.
plant, unaligned, so the protection from good and evil does not
Okay.
affect it.
Okay.
So the
Yeah,
the 11
25.
does not hit, but the 25 did. So 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right.
And you can see another vine coming off of its back as reaching towards the will-o-wisp. As if like encouraging it, like reaching out to it, knowing that it's damaged. And it's Tur's turn.
Oh.
Tur shakes her head, looks at Thum and goes, "Meh," and swings at the will-o-wisp anyway. That's all I got. That is just a miss. 17 does not hit. So she swings again. And that also misses. And then as a bonus action... Oh, that might have... Ooh, what's this one?
Oh wait, that might have been good. Hold on.
Oh, no, that's something else. All right, so that's what she can do. She's just going to stay in the corner, and that's Tur's turn. Maladrak, you are up.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna repeat my process here.
Mm-hmm. Y'all got
I would like to
cornered.
point out that we are flanking
And-
this creature.
Yeah, you are flanking this
Oh,
creature.
yeah.
Yep.
22.
That is a big ol' hit, and it was
Yeah.
two-handed, so that's... How does this pile of garbage die?
Ah.
Yes.
I guess I just just swing into it, and I just feel it like give, and I just keep going and just like chop it into little bits.
You see, as Maladrak's like just like swings the first, like pulls back, and just almost in a barbaric rage goes lumberjack on this thing, and just like huge chunks of it starts spraying off on the side, and finally with one huge blow he cuts down, and at the heart of this thing there was this rotted stump, and you can see the stump just split open, and a pile of maggots spill out from the middle of it, and they're all like boiling away and fall into the puddle as the thing just like, and there's like this a little stink that goes out, and you hear a of escaping gas as this thing slowly starts sinking under the water.
Awesome.
Nice.
Love it.
From the will-o-wisp you hear, free, free, and it starts to slowly float past you, evading swings as you would normally be able to take attacks of opportunity at it. It just floats up towards the ceiling and then hovers down over the altar, eventually coalescing into like this bluish light of uh, names. I have names in my head. Of this old, uh, heavily mustached, aristocratic man who looks a lot like Gustav from the paintings, unlike the ghastly creature that had been plaguing you earlier. And you see him leaning against the altar, and he speaks in this ghostly whisper. You have brought so much to my home, freed us from enslavement. I can feel his energy creeping in. Strahd wishes to imprison us once more and hold us in this plane. I've seen the energy that twines around you. You must escape together, is all I can offer you in advice. Do what you can. Approach the altar. Ruin it. Ruin it with your energy and escape. And he starts flickering in and out as if like static is casting across his body, and you hear ozone, or you smell ozone permeating the room, and he flickers, and there's like a little tss, 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 and he just fades into the altar. As he does,
I just look around at everybody. What?
Y'all heard that too? Yes?
Yup.
Cause what it smells.
there's a little shudder and a shake as if like settling earth, and you can start to see the walls around you are appearing to age quickly. The vines are rotting and sloughing off. The walls, the stone underneath it, is starting to age and crack and pit. As you all gather around on the altar, looking at each other, Tur hangs her hammer from one side, like holds it in her hands with like a little bit of a question, like, huh? Is it just...
Maladrag like shrugs his shoulders and just starts to wail into the altar.
Yep, Tur's like, all right, and pulls out her mace and starts going as well. The crumbling. What are you, Petra? What are you and Raphael doing?
That is what I'm trying to figure out, man.
I mean,
Maladrak and
so
Tur
he
are
did
just
say
going
to
ham.
destroy it.
Yep.
I see them doing that, and he's just like, he's already got his mace and his
So the three of you just start going ham on this altar, and it breaks off large chunks of the stone, suddenly losing structural integrity, break off, and some of them like crumbling almost to sand as you blast it apart.
Yeah, I bash it until there's nothing left to bash.
As you finish crushing and destroying this altar, there's like a rumbling from outside, and like you can see the on the other side of the portcullis that'll let you in, the things have collapsed down. The stone is crumbled and cracked in, and it's caved in on that side, trapping you in the room. And Tur looks at you, and you can see as she's been hammering away at this, emotions building up around in her. She starts sparkling with energy, and she's like, looks at her hands and looks at you guys, looks at Raphael, and goes, "We can try and take him with us."
Definitely. We took him with us last time, didn't we?
seemed like the fog took all of us.
What are we talking about? Me? Don't leave me in here.
Yeah. Petra's gonna put her hand on Raphael's shoulder.
All right. So the lot of you join hands and touch, and you can feel that energy that from the planes that you've traveled through start cascading through your bodies. Um, and you start looking and seeing as that flickering little St. Elmo's fire starts dancing from Tur to Petra to Maladrak to Raphael, at first reluctantly, but then more and more, faster and faster, starting to spiral around the group of you before there's a flash of light. And you find yourselves in the midst of a gray and endless void, really. There's nothing to see. You look down at your feet, it's gray. You look above you, gray. Front, back, all angles. But as you look around, you notice that there are these silver cords coming from each of you. And they spread out into the distance, fading away to where you can't see. But you notice that there's more than one branch to these silver cords. It's like little tendrils have broken off and they're heading in multiple different directions. And they've intertwined between you, the three of you, and now they've started to intertwine. And as you're watching, they intertwine around Raphael, and his silver cord is blended with yours. And as the energy in these silver cords starts to pulse, you look around and you can see and just start to make out icons like giant floating symbols in the distance. There's a snowflake near the anchor point of Maladrak's silver cord. There's near the anchor point of Tur. There is what looks like the front of an old iron stove with red glowing behind it. Darkness with like just the slight fluttering of book pages is the anchor point for Petra's. Raphael's drifts off into sparkles and gray and gold, um, and ever so slight, like the glint of a pile of coins can be seen in the distance at the end of his. And from above you, you hear a deep, angry voice. No, no, he will not be free of me. And you look up and you see that blackness that Tur had told you about. And the voice that she had said was like the voice of that energy that had pulled you all into that house. And you can feel the weight of this will forcing down on you. And there's something inside you that says you must push back with will of your own. And Tur looks and goes, we have to use it. We have to do something. So this is going to be a social challenge that I'm going to ask each of you to put forth a skill or social endeavor or something, persuasion or intimidation or intelligence or something that links your past, that gives you a solid anchor that's going to keep you from being pulled by this force of will into the maw. You can feel it pulling you in and drawing you up, and you can feel the cord stretching from your body out to your anchor point. And you start thinking of all the things that draw you towards your anchor. And I'm going to ask you, I actually have something prepped from Jess Pack.
Oh, nice.
Who sent me her note And so Tur looks up into this darkness, goes, "You like messing with us? You like messing with our heads? I'm gonna mess with your head." And in the angriest voice, she starts chanting, "It cannot be seen, it cannot be felt, cannot be heard, cannot be smelt. It lies behind stars and under hills. It sits in the empty holes it fills. It came first and will follow after. Ends all life, kills all laughter. You have to solve it. You have to try. You can't pull me. I will not die." And she does her. Ooh, that was an intelligence on hers. A 20 for her intelligence against this. And you can see, like, pulses of energy flying down the silver cord from Tur to her anchor point, but they also spread out to each of you, inspiring you to take action to fight this menace from above. Who wants to go next?
Hmm. Okay. Um, Raphael takes out of his coat a loaded die, and he holds it up and shakes it at the entity above him, and he says, "I may roll the dice once or twice. Every single outcome is determined." And he rolls this die. "You don't scare me, big guy."
All right. That I think uh is going to be a sleight of hand or deception. Which feels better to you?
Sleight of hand.
Alrighty. Nice. You roll the dice, and they both come up full sixes, and the sparkle on the dice starts shining up, and like light sprays up out of them, and like breaks off chunks of the darkness up above you, and the again you see this energy pulse down the silver cord from Raphael towards his anchor, and it spreads out to each of you, forming a deeper and more connected web between the four of you. Maladrak and Petra.
Maladrak is going to what is he going to do? He's going to say, "You will not get in the way of me getting back to my people. The power of the kami flows through me, stopping you to get back to them, to protect the ones that I have sworn to. I will do so."
That feels like intimidation to me. How does that sound to you?
That works for me. Oh no.
Oh. You call upon these things and you threaten these voice, and the voice from above goes, "I am not threatened by your ancestors. They are not here. The kami cannot protect you." But the energy that had been put out by Tur and Raphael still supports you, and you feel yourself anchoring. We're most of the way there. Petra?
Petra is going to bring out her last ceramic cup, as well as a little ceramic doll that she got at the market. And she's going to put a note that she still has from from one of her fellow researchers in that bowl, along with some of the leaves that she picked at different locations along the way. She's going to say, "We have so much to do, and you're in the way. I need to get home and share my findings." And she's thinking about her mother and the library.
Okay, these were all things that you used that were very tied to your religion and significant religious artifacts. So give me a religion roll.
Yes.
As you say this, there's this pulse of radiant energy, and it's almost as if the blackness is pushed away from you, and you see the threads of your many different silver cords start intertwining and blending together and twisting and tightening, and much like rope that reinforces itself when you bind it together with other rope, your cords twine together to form this giant cable of energy that starts pulling you. And as you see this happen, you're zooming away on the force of will and energy and honor and knowledge and strength that you have put forth into this, and you're all pulled as this darkness spreads away from you, and you can see all of your anchor points are getting pulled closer and closer and closer together. And as you speed towards them, you can see that you can choose as a group which anchor point you will drift to, but that they're all somehow intertwined, and you know that your next step will be facing the things that started this journey, but this time you won't be facing them alone. You'll be facing them together. And we're going to put a pin in that there. And next time we will be doing, at the ultimate episode, we will be facing the inciting incidents that we started all the way back in Game 0, where Maladrak was faced off against a white dragon, and Tur was faced against a cinder hag that had thrown her into an oven, where Petra was pulled into the darkest corners of the libraries and attacked by the fiends trapped within those books. And we're going to find out what the inciting incident for Raphael was that brought this lucky devil in to join all the rest of the group. So, I hope you all had a good time, and I hope anyone that watching is excited about our ultimate episode of Planeswalkers, which will be happening next Tuesday if the fates allow. It's not going to happen unless everybody is available, because it's really crucial that everybody gets to be their own person for this last one. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys are super excited, and
Definitely.
let's
Yeah.
press the big red button and say goodbye for now, and we'll bring it back next time. Goodbye.